Hi, I'm Scott Flowers with Cloud Ninjas. Today we're here to start a new series on the Dell PowerEdge R350 Server. In this video, we're going to specifically focus on processors, but in the video series as a whole, we're going to cover processors, RAM, hard drives, solid-state drives, VMware, Microsoft Server operating systems. We're going to show you how to put your server into a rack, how to update your server, plus a ton more. So click that like, smash that subscribe. Let's get going. Well, hey, thanks for stopping by today to learn a little bit more about the Dell PowerEdge R350 Server. In this video, we're going to specifically focus on processors. And what we're going to do in this video as a whole is we're going to show you the types of compatible processors. We're going to show you the processors that we recommend. And then at the end, we're going to actually remove our old processor and install a new processor and show you how to upgrade it. So let's just go ahead and hop in as a whole. So what processors are compatible? Well, this system accepts E2300 series Xeon processors, which is an LGA1200 socket, which means it's the Rocket Lake series processors inside the R350 server. People ask us all the time, hey, what processor do you recommend? And really that depends on what your application is. What we do is we break down into three categories. We have our low-end processors, which are going to be your more budget-friendly processors. We have our value processors, which are going to be kind of a nice sweet spot where it's going to still not break the bank, be still very budget-friendly, but you're going to have better specs than the budget procs. And then we have our high-end processors, which are going to be the most expensive, but they're going to be the best performing. So it really just kind of depends on what your application is as a whole. I feel like most people that buy these systems from us as a whole are always going to the high-end side, but really we still break down into three categories depending on what you're looking for. All right, well, let's start with the low end. So the low end procs that we recommend, there's three of them. That's going to be the E2314, the E2324G, and the E2334. All of these are going to be 4-core quad-core processors. It's going to be 2.8, 3.1, and 3.4 gigahertz. So again, all of these are going to be on the lower end, but still, those aren't bad specs. You're going to get 4 cores and you're going to get a decent speed overall, but those are going to be your budget-friendly, a little bit lower performing processors. So now let's talk about the value procs. All right, so the three value procs that we recommend is going to be the E2336, the E2356G, and the E2374G. That's going to be a 6-core, and a 4-core. And people ask us, why do you throw the 4-core in there? Well, because you start off, you're going to get a 2.9 gigahertz, 3.2, and that 4-core is a 3.7. So it's one of the fastest processors in this series as a whole. Even though it's going to be a 4-core, it is going to be a very, very fast processor. And this is a nice little sweet spot. And these are the value procs that we recommend. So now we'll get to the high performance or the high-end processors. All right, on the high-end side, we recommend the E2378G, the E2386G, and the E2388G. These are going to be the three top-of-the-line procs within this series as a whole. That's going to be an 8-core, 6-core, and an 8-core. That's going to be 2.8, 3.5, and 3.2 gigahertz. So that 3.5 is going to be with your 6-core, which is why we threw the 6-core in there, is just because it has such a high speed overall. And again, these are going to be your high-end, most expensive processors in the series. But really, all the ones that we recommended, a low-end value or a high-end, are all great procs that you can use. And if you're not sure which ones that you want to use, hey, give us a call. Our sales team can definitely help you pick the right CPU to upgrade, or if you need an R350 to build, we can build one out and help you with that as well. So, all right, now before we hop in and do our install and remove our old one, I'm going to grab my ESD gear and be right back.
All right, I have my ESD gear on. We're safe to work inside our machine. So I always like to start by laying out everything we're going to need for our upgrade. So first off, we have our new CPU that we're going to be upgrading. In this case, it's one of our high-end ones. It's an E2378G. Big fan of this proc as a whole. We're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver to remove our heatsink. We're going to need a rag to clean the old thermal paste off of the bottom of the heatsink. And we are going to need thermal paste to put onto our new CPU. So that's everything that we're going to need for this upgrade. So let's go ahead and toss everything to the side. So lift the latch, pop the top. And the R350 is one of the shorter servers as a whole. It's kind of a mini server, really. And it's got one CPU inside. And there are, with our air baffle here, you'll see there are 4 DIMM slots as well. So it's a pretty basic kind of entry-level server that's great for your everyday applications. Nothing that's super robust, but this is a great little server as a whole. So this is what it looks like. All right, so now that we are inside, we're going to need to remove our air baffle to start. So we're just going to lift our air baffle straight up, no tools required. And there's one CPU, as we mentioned, and it's going to require a Phillips head screwdriver in order to remove the heatsink. So I like to use a manual screwdriver personally, just gives you a better feel for when the heatsink is coming actually off of the motherboard, and less chance of stripping it. So big fan of the manuals. Every once in a while we have to use the automatics to bang out, 100 servers in a day for a big project, and the guys will use them, but for the most part, we're all big fans of the manuals. You didn't feel like, so these have already popped off. When I let this go right here, I'll feel it come up. All right, so now that the heatsink is fully disconnected, we're going to lift it up. One of the things I like to note is that sometimes, depending on how old your system is, there might be some thermal paste that is caked onto the bottom. Well, I just flip it over right away, just so there's not thermal paste getting into everything. So let's just go ahead and lift this straight up and flip it over. And it's definitely older. You can see the kind of caked on rim right there. So we're going to clean it off screen, and we'll also clean the CPU itself, just in case we can reuse this down the line. But overall, it's not too bad. Sometimes there'll be thermal paste just all over the socket, and that's one of the reasons we have our rag here, is just to make sure that everything is nice and clean. So we're going to start by cleaning our thermal paste, and I'm going to actually clean it off screen over here just because I don't want it to flake into the motherboard itself. Okay, so we cleaned that, and it's definitely a lot better as a whole. So now that we have a clean heat sink, let's go ahead and remove our CPU. So it's pretty simple overall. You just have this one latch right here that you're just going to push down and out, and when you go all the way up, this is going to release and come up. And now we're just going to pull our CPU out. So personally, I like to grab right here. There's a little bit more space to just grab it overall. You can grab it either way realistically, but I always just like to grab it right here and then lift it straight up. All right, so we're going to be upgrading to E2378G, great processor on the high performance side, or the high end side. So the first thing that we're going to do, if you notice right here, there is a gold triangle on the corner. If you look right here, there is a white triangle as well. That is how you know which way to line up your CPUs. So I'm actually going to be doing this without my glove on. It's just a little bit easier, and this is such a small CPU, it's kind of tough. So we're just going to lay this down right here. I always tell people come straight down. Same thing when you pull it up, come straight up, because if you drag a corner, you can wipe out some pins and potentially disable some memory channels or other things. So you just want to make sure you pull it straight up, put it straight back down. So now we're going to put our thermal paste on. And this is pretty simple. You don't want to put too much on, but you can put enough on. So just a nice little bit in the middle. Really, that is all that you need. And then we're going to reinstall our heatsink. So what we're going to do first, actually, I'm going to put my glove back on. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put this back down. Make sure that you hook it under here. And then this is just going to come straight down. You're going to push it out and back in to lock this into place. And then we're going to put our heatsink back on. So we just want to line everything up. So just line your screw holes up. And I like to, when I'm screwing it down, do this side, then that side, and do a kind of zigzag pattern. Kind of like what you're supposed to do when you're putting lug nuts into a car. So we've got our heatsink on. We've officially upgraded our processor. We'll drop our air baffle back in, and that's really all that you had to do. Hey, if you made it this far, click that like, smash that subscribe. And if you're looking for any custom built servers, we do Dell, we do HPE, Supermicro, IBM. We do a ton of 15th gen servers, and we're even doing new 16th gen servers. Please email us at sales@cloudengine.com. That's sales@cloudengine.com. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Take care.